Serving up a warm dish of the Triad's culinary fare, here's your weekly helping of food, news, and views. This is the man who ate the town.
Hey folks, and welcome to episode 223 of the Man Who Ate the Town podcast. This is for the week of December 13th through the 19th, 2021. My name is Tim Beeman, and we're opening the recipe trunk. We're recording this episode of the Man Who Ate the Town in the Less Desirable Studios in the Lab at Industry Hill. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcatchers like Apple Podcast, Stitcher, or Spotify, or any of that ilk, we'd appreciate a like, a follow, a rating, a review, whatever your podcatcher platform allows would be great. It would help us tremendously. And if you're listening to us on the Triad Podcast Network, welcome and thank you. There's probably need to be a caveat for something a little bit later. These are only opinions based on my experiences. As with any review that I post, I hope that you will visit the establishment and formulate your own opinions and views of the restaurants. No review is ever meant as a means to denigrate or belittle the good work that most of these restaurants are trying to do. This is an opinion of what I did or did not like or how I saw things, and not a reflection of the overall quality or overall vision of the company. Pardon the pun, but take all this with a grain of salt. So this episode of The Man Who Ate the Town is brought to you by Diamondback Grill. It is casual dining located in the heart of Buena Vista in Winston-Salem. It is a fantastic family-owned farm-to-fork restaurant that sources most of its ingredients from local farmers, and the ambiance is always amazing. Check out their nightly themed specials and especially the cocktail menu. It's full of seasonal deliciousness, always. Diamondback Grill is at 751 Avalon Road. Find them on the web at diamondbackgrill.com and on Facebook and Instagram. And right now, they're doing a Instagram contest about something. You need to go to I can't tell you what it is because then I'll be giving it away. So there's a contest on Instagram for Diamondback Grill. I believe it's Diamondback Grill. It might be Diamondback Grill WSNC. You type in Diamondback Grill, you're going to see it. To make reservations for Diamondback, call 336-722-0006, and of course tell them that I sent you. Still, even more now, almost everyone is hiring, so go get a job. Seems like the big news this week has been the commotion at Brothers Pizzeria that happened the week before. It happened before the podcast last week, but I didn't have any info on it, so I wasn't just going to speak out the side of my face when I didn't know what was going on. From looking at the video, it looks like there was a group of girls fighting in the restaurant. And when Mike Scotto, one of the brothers, tried to go back to break it up, a thug, yes, I said a thug. It doesn't matter what color, creed, or race you are. When you act like a thug, you act like this, you are a thug. Anyway, when Mike went back to break it up, this asshole of a thug blindsided him, knocking him to the ground, and when he went down, the asshole stomped on him until he blacked out. Somewhere in this, there was a gun that skidded across the floor during the fracas. The restaurant had to close the rest of the evening, of course, which was after midnight. Mike had to take a few days to recover, and even after a week, he still had visible scars and bruises and bumps. He told reporters that he didn't even know where he was for a little bit. So he and his brother decided to not keep the restaurant open after midnight any longer. I had begged for someone to put something in that spot or somewhere close that people who were out late bar hopping and whatever could get something close to the city center while they're out drinking or partying or whatever. They wanted to come out of their hotel if they were staying downtown and come have a bite. There's not a whole lot of places downtown to do that. Burke Street Pizza is open till I think 3 on the weekends. Till 3 on the weekends. But you just can't walk out of Bull's Tavern on 4th Street and down to Burke Street Pizza. That's half a mile or more by walking, and it really isn't an option. So we had that. And because of these assholes, we don't have that anymore. I don't know if the pizzeria was robbed or not, but there are aspects of this, and you can see the video online, that seem like a setup. But for what? Just being a hoodlum or wanting to beat somebody up? I guess that's possible. Watching the video, I still can't figure out why the guy hit him other than he was just looking for trouble. I don't know if they had figured out who this is or if anyone has turned him in or what. I hope they catch him and prosecute the hell out of him. I've always said this mostly in jest, but right now it's worth saying with heart attack seriousness. This is why we can't have nice things. If you have any information on who this dick is, call the cops or Crime Stoppers. He shouldn't get away with it. I'm sorry for the salty language. I just am tired of seeing this downtown Winston. We had a reputation and we mostly got rid of that for the most part, and now it's come back. Why? Anyway, again, sorry for the salty language, and if you have any information, turn the asshole in. Simple as that. Another potential big story this week is that someone has purchased Finnigan's Wake. Not just putting a restaurant in there, but keeping it as Finnigan's Wake, as far as I can tell. I know who is being touted as the new owner, and until they say, I really can't say, because it's mostly hush-hush right now. At least as far as I know. What I can say is that without Opie, I'm sure it will be different, and things will not 100% be the way it was. But I think we will recognize a lot of the classic Finnigan's qualities here. The person spearheading this, or supposedly spearheading this, knows what they're doing around town. I don't know about the restaurant part, but I think that they will put the right people in the right place to make that happen. Stay tuned. DiLisio's is now open on Tuesdays, which means they're mostly back to a regular pre-pandemic schedule. Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, they're open from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Friday and Saturday from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. To me, that's exciting. Very exciting. So you can get DiLisio's now 5 days a week, right? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 5 days. Math's hard. Math is hard. Yamas, the community pillar, is doing a fundraiser for a local single mother of 3 plus 1. From the Yamas Facebook page, it says, Miss Spencer recently lost her twin sister and gained custody of her niece due to the passing. She has 3 kids of her own and is a single mother, and she is now raising 4 children herself and needs the support of our great community. You can your support can help Lindsay and these children in need in this holiday season. So, Yamas says, dine with us at Yamas, 1330 Creekshire Way on December 21st, which is a Tuesday, I think, right? Today is the 13th, tomorrow's 14th, 7 days. Yes. Again, math is hard. December 21st from 5 to 9, and proceeds will go to the family. They have created a GoFundMe page for those who are unable to attend the event and would like to show their support. I will put the link in the show notes, but it'd probably be easier if you just go to the Yamas Facebook page. It has a link right there that doesn't rely on me getting the link right. So I would check that out on my own if I were you. Salem Kitchen says that currently the only orders that they are taking for the holidays. Salem Kitchen says that currently the only orders that they are taking are for holiday orders. So if you're ordering for Christmas or whatever it is you celebrate, check out their website, salemkitchen.com, for more information. Now, that disclaimer that I read earlier about being my opinion, all this other stuff, comes in right here. Stephanie and I went this past Friday to the new Marlin restaurant, that Mariscos Marlin, where Cities used to be. So I want this known up front that this is not a review of the restaurant or its food. This is an account of our experience. I say that because they hadn't even been open for 6 days at the point that I went. So many people are always saying, oh, I don't go to a place until they've been open for at least 3 months. Well, what good does that do? If everyone thought like this, then how would the restaurant actually work out its kinks? They couldn't improve or practice if no one went. They'd also go out of business because people aren't buying anything. They can't just keep paying for food that no one's going to buy. I think that's asinine for people to say, and it's asinine to practice. I also find that to be selfish and short-sighted. Well, enough people will go to them, you might say. Well, what makes you so special? I only deserve the best. Well, you do you. If you want to be selfish and short-sighted, then continue that practice. Yes, I know you're spending hard-earned money on something that potentially won't be good. But in fairness to that restaurant, they are just as likely to screw up or serve you subpar food just because they're having an off night, even after being open for years. There are plenty of places that I have been that are long-standing members of the culinary community, and I know they do food right, and they've served me poorly. But that being said, for this, I have a few observations. To me, passing it every week for the last year, watching them do some things to the building and the whole hurry up and wait thing, and then months with nary any sign of work happening in there, is like they just gave up and decided, let's just open, okay? Let's open. It seems a bit lofty, but it also seems to fall flat with its ambience, whatever you want to call it. The menu, the printed menu that we saw, had some ridiculously expensive items. Now, also something I hate is when people complain about prices, especially today with food costs being what they are. But some of this was just outrageous. When I think of food, cost of food, and what by that I mean my cost, not the restaurant's cost, I take into account what and how they are doing things. If I go to an upscale restaurant like Let's use Ryan's or Springhouse or the Catherine. And then I expect to pay higher prices. It's upscale food, location, and artistry of the chefs and their staff. Now, this is supposedly an authentic Mexican restaurant that makes its own tortillas in-house and made to order. Okay. I don't know. I mean, that's good. I want the freshest food available. However, there was, well, I'll get to it in a minute. Oh, no, I'll tell you now. There were things like this Camarones cucaracha on the printed menu. That's like $42.99. So I'm like, is this, when it says cucaracha, I know that's cockroach in Mexican, I'm so sorry, in Spanish. Think of a Mexican restaurant in Spanish. And I'm thinking, okay, so maybe it has lobster or something, because, you know, lobster has been called the cockroach of the sea before. No lobster. It just says fried shrimp, not even grilled, or it's fried, which is okay, I guess. But shrimp, to me, I want it grilled or whatever. I just don't want it fried. I want to taste the shrimp, not all that caked on crap. In a spicy house sauce is what it says on the menu. $42.99. Now, here's the thing. When I go online to look at the menu online, it says $24.99, which is still a little bit much, but much more accessible. Now, that could be a misprint, but it was just one of the things. There were several things on there. Party platters being high priced is normal and expected, but regular menu items, I don't know. They have some interesting things there on the menu, though. It's several different ceviches, cocktails, and I mean seafood cocktails like shrimp, octopus, oyster cocktail. Not alcoholic beverages, but they do have alcoholic beverages too. They have those strange, like Corona glasses or cans with the shrimp and all that stuff on and in, and they have all those, and that's cool if that's your thing. They have tostadas, soups, fish, all that other stuff. And the more I look at the online menu, the more I'm confused as to what in the world was going on. Is it that the printed menu is that wrong? Is it that they suck you in with reasonable prices online only to bait and switch you when you get there? I don't really think that that's the case. I'm not saying they are. I'm asking a question hypothetically. But something was amiss, and it still is. So we decided, being as we were just dipping a toe in this, we were going the safe route. And if you know me, you know I don't usually go the safe route with my food. Stephanie got the Marlin tacos, and I got the ACP Texano, because how can you screw up ACP, right? Well, I'll tell you how you can screw up ACP. You can undercook the rice. It can be clumpy. It can be hard in places. It can be chewy in other places. I equated it, the texture-wise anyway, to a dish with raisins and soft walnuts in it. You get meat, and sometimes it's squishy, and sometimes it's crunchy. The cheese on the ACP was plentiful and flavorful, but there were minimal amounts of the chicken, steak, and shrimp that comes on the Texano part. But the flavors all put together just weren't working for me. Stephanie had the Marlin tacos, like I said, but I'm certain those were not Marlin. Marlin is like swordfish in texture, and it's firm, and it might have some color to it, but it's not going to look like beef. This was like beef and chorizo together because it was extra spicy. Now, I know they have a house sauce that is a bit spicy, But this didn't taste like that. This tasted like chorizo and beef, both in flavor and in texture. And now we both agreed we'd probably come back and give it another shot, but not for a few weeks. And not because of that, wait till they get the kinks thing worked out. It's just that we had it. I wasn't thrilled, and I just have other things that I need to taste and eat. I have other places I need to go. I just wanted to check it out to see what it was so I could convey any experience to you guys. Now, back to what I always say whenever I do something like that. I'm going to read it again. I've already read it once, but I'm reading it again. These are only opinions based on my experiences. As with any review I post, I hope that you will visit the establishment and formulate your own opinions and views of the restaurant. No review, and this is the case too, is ever meant as a means to denigrate or belittle the good work that most of the restaurants are trying to do. This is an opinion of what I did or did not like or how I saw things, which is what this is, how I saw things, and not a reflection of the overall quality or overall vision of the company. Again, take it all with a grain of salt. The server swore it was Marlin and Stephanie's thing, so I don't know. I don't know what that was. We told the server all the concerns we had and also instructed her that we did not want anything to replace it. We did not want a discount or comp for it. We tipped her generously to make up for me being a food journalist, because I inquire, I ask questions, I question why something is the way it is. I was talking about food quality and a bit continuously questioning what was in something, because that's how we learn. I tried it, didn't care for it, but Mariscos Marlin is open and waiting for you to give it a try. So the holidays are here. Everyone's having a hard time. A lot of restaurants dread this time of year, even the best times, because people get stupid, inconsiderate, and asshole-ish. After all, again, we are entitled Americans. But they're there for you. Also, we undoubtedly have friends and family that don't get to go to the local gems, G-E-M-S, gems, these local wonderful places enough for whatever reason. They either can't afford it, they just don't have time, whatever. Maybe a combination of all those and plus others. So this holiday season, why not purchase gift cards for those special places that you love to eat and give them to your loved ones to broaden their minds, their palates, and their food journey. And if you're able, and I know it isn't always possible, but if you are able, consider tipping a little extra for those who are taking care of you. Coming soon is Eat, Drink, Restaurant Week. I don't know how involved I'm going to be in that yet. Of course, I will talk about it. We will see. I just wanted to go ahead and put it out there that it's coming. Check out Explore Winston-Salem, and Instagram-based business to tell you all the cool and groovy things that are happening in our hometown. They are on Instagram as Explore Winston-Salem and on the web at explorewinstonNC.com. Christy is all over it. Everything. Explore Winston-Salem. All right. Burgers, real quick. I am tallying the results and will be writing my thoughts, observations, and compiling my list. The Burger Tour 21 results in the next couple of weeks. I haven't decided what I'm doing for the next couple of weeks as far as this podcast goes. I generally take time off around Thanksgiving, which I did, and around Christmas and New Year's. So I'm pretty sure that there won't be a podcast next week unless I get the food list, the burger list done. If I don't get that done, then it will happen after the first of the year, and we will be off the next two. Got to look at the calendar again because math sucks. The next 2, maybe 3 weeks. So the 20th is next week. Actually, I think I'll have a show the 20th, but the 27th I will not. The 3rd I will not, and we'll be back on the 10th of January. So next week, the 20th, I believe we will have a show. The food holidays are sponsored by Mojito Latin Soul Food, your go-to Cuban and Latin-inspired restaurant. They are now open on Mondays, so from noon to 8 p.m. That's quick service only. That means you go to the counter, you get a number, you sit down, they bring it to you, and you eat it. Bam. There you go. Full menu and bar menu. Mojito Latin Soul Food does reservations, takeouts, and has a rather large outdoor patio and delivers to surrounding businesses like Fiddlin' Fish, Broad Branch Distillery, Wise Man, when they don't have their own food trucks, and others around the area. Check them out on their Facebook page and at MojitoLatinSoulFood.com. Today is the 13th of December. It's National Day of the Horse, designated in 2004 by Congress for how much the horse does for us in our economy and all that jazz, farming and all that stuff. I think it's a little silly, but it is what it is. It's also National Cocoa Day. In 1827, Giovanni Delmonico, a Swiss wine merchant, and his brother Pietro, opened Delmonico and Brother Cafe at 23 William Street in Manhattan, New York City. Not at that location and not the same exact restaurant because it did close for a bit and open back up, but it is still in business today. So a lot of cool things. The term 86, when you 86 something, supposedly originated in Delmonico's. There were other milestone things that happen at Delmonico's. You just have to look them up. We don't have that kind of time. On the 14th, it's National Bouillabaisse Day. It's Roast Chestnuts Day. And it's Monkey Day, an annual celebration of all things simian, a festival of primates, and it's always on December 14th. The 15th is National Lemon Cupcake Day. In 1933, the 21st Amendment ending national prohibition in the United States became officially effective. Thank you. In 1939, DuPont began commercial production and sale of yarn for nylon hosiery. In 1964, Canada adopted the maple leaf as the official symbol for its national flag. In 64, so I wonder what it looked like before. What was the flag in 63? Or even in 64, up until the official unveiling of the maple leaf. On the 15th in 2001, Italy's famous Leaning Tower of Pisa was reopened to the public after almost 12 years of corrective reconstruction and stabilization efforts. It was declared stable for at least another 200 years. On the 16th, it's National Chocolate Covered Anything Day. Here's one for you, Ray Morgan. It's also Tea Party Day because in 1773, on the 16th of December, the Boston Tea Party happened. A group of men dressed as Native Americans boarded ships at Griffith's Wharf and dumped hundreds of tea chests into the Boston Harbor. No taxation without representation. That was the beginning of the American Revolution. On the 16th in 1863, Gerard Heineken bought the Amsterdam brewery called the Haystack, which dated back to 1592. This was the beginning of Heineken beer. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking gross. But drinking Heineken in America and drinking Heineken in Amsterdam, two different experiences. Yes, they're all owned by AB InBev, but two different experiences. Ask me off air, I'll tell you what I know, or at least what I've been told. I can't say for certain that's how it is, but that's what they told us in Amsterdam. Just send me a message. Tim at themanwhoatethetown.com. On the 16th in 1884, William H. Frun of Minneapolis was granted a patent for the first coin-operated automatic vending machine to dispense liquids. So I don't know how many of you remember back when they had the vending machines that you would put your change in there. You'd pick whatever you want, whether it was coffee or hot chocolate or even the ones that did sodas. And you'd hit the button, the combination that you want, all the stuff. Then this cup would fall down. And then the liquids would start going into the cup. And then you take it. Voila. I'm assuming that's what that is. I always was fascinated by them. I'm still fascinated by it. And kind of sad you don't see it anymore. But we don't see it anymore. In 2004, country music singer Willie Nelson on the 16th opened his own restaurant, the Texas Roadhouse Grill in Austin, Texas. And yes, this is the same Texas Roadhouse that we know and don't go to. But he just owns one franchise. On the 17th, it's National Maple Syrup Day. It's Nutcracker Day, because in 1892, on the 17th, was the first performance of Tchaikovsky's The Nutcracker in St. Petersburg, Russia. On the 17th in 1895, George L. Brownell of Worcester, Massachusetts, was issued a patent for a machine for making paper twine, which is used a lot for cooking roasts and tying up the chicken legs and turkey legs and all that. In 1903, on the 17th, Wilbur and Orville Wright make the first successful flight of a self-propelled, heavier-than-air aircraft in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Big to do with the state of Ohio of who gets to claim the rights of the Wright brothers, because they're from Ohio. They built the contraption in Ohio, brought it down here to do the tests, and actually did it here. We have first in flight. We have on our quarter that we were doing after 2001. It was first in flight, and Ohio, because they didn't sign on until later, threw a fit. Too bad, too sad. On the 17th in 1992, the North American Free Trade Agreement, also known as NAFTA, was signed by the leaders of Canada, Mexico, and the USA. On the 18th, it's National Roast Suckling Pig Day, which I think I told you when we had my birthday soiree at the Catherine, we had roast suckling pig. That was good. It was really good. It's also National Baked Cookies Day. In 1895, the Anti-Saloon League of Ohio and Washington, D.C. joined to form the National Anti-Saloon League, later the Anti-Saloon League of America. not to be confused with the Justice League of America. They used their powers for good. The Anti-Saloon League did not. In 1988, Pillsbury Company is acquired by the British company Grand Metropolitan PLC, a food and spirits conglomerate. It is now owned, Pillsbury, is owned by General Mills. In 2020, on the 18th, Waffle House and Oconee Brewing of Georgia released Bacon and Kegs, a bacon-infused red ale. In 2019, Oatmeal Muffin Day and National Hard Candy Day. On the 19th, in 1686, is when Daniel Defoe's Robinson Crusoe left his island after 28 years and arrives back in England on June 11th, 1687. In 1732, the first issue of Poor Richard's Almanac was published by Benjamin Franklin in Philadelphia. On the 19th, in 1871, Albert L. Jones of New York received a patent for corrugated paper, an improvement in paper for packing, which was used and still is used in cardboard boxes, basically. That's your food history and holidays for this week. Special thanks to James Ehler at foodreference.com for making us chuckle, roll our eyes. I've had bacon-flavored beer before, but I don't know if it has any of that essence of Waffle House bacon. I don't know how that goes. Anyway, thanks, James. The Man Who Ate the Town podcast is part of the Less Desirables podcast network. Along with this podcast, you can listen to The Less Desirables, The Beer Dads, Fan Interference, Beeswax Vinyl Daily, Wheeler's Dog, and Asylum, Tales from the Devereaux Diaries podcast, and the brand new Useless Things Need Love 2, the podcast. You can find all these podcasts and their latest episodes on our network website and directory, tldpodnetwork.com. You'll find all you need to know right there on that website. Again, tldpodnetwork.com. This is a reminder to all the listeners, and is good practice, not just now, but for always. Wash your damn hands. Wash with warm water and soap. Wash with that soap for 20 seconds or more. Sing along with this if you don't know how long 20 seconds is.
London calling to the faraway towns. Now war is declared and battle come down. London calling to the underworld. Come out of the cupboard, you boys and girls. London calling, now don't look to us. Phony Beatlemania has bitten the dust. London calling, see we ain't got no swing except for the rain and the truncheon thing. The ice age is coming, the sun's zooming in. Meltdown expected, the wheat is going thin. Engines stop running, but I have no fear, 'cause London is drowning. I live by the river.
So tomorrow, which is the 14th of December, will be the 42nd anniversary of London Calling, the album by The Clash. So, happy birthday to London Calling. Keep an eye on my blog and this podcast, or video if you're watching that, to find out more about the food news and happenings around town. If you have any food news, send an email to tim@themanwhoatethetown.com. You can contact us on Facebook and Instagram or Twitter via their instant messengers. Like us on Facebook. On Twitter, we are man8thetown. And on Instagram, we are man8thetown. We invite you to call and leave a voicemail for the podcast or any podcast on the TLD network by calling 336-422-6862. That's right, 336-422-NUMB. Leave us a voicemail and we'll play it on the podcast. Again, 336-422-6862 or NUMB. Oh, and if you didn't know, I'm starting these as videos as well. So you can go to YouTube and click on or search The Man Who Ate the Town. And you see my face and this logo here. You'll know that you're in the right spot. And last week was the first one. And I hope to do these every week. There may be weeks that I get behind and can't do it, but I hope to. So enjoy that. My name is Tim, and I'm closing the recipe trunk. Until next time, thank you for reading, thank you for listening, and thank you for watching. Bon appetit. Yamas. The views and opinions stated by me or any of my guests are solely those of ours and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of our hosting companies, distributors, enemies, friends, or relatives. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced or distributed without express written consent of the man who ate the town, that's me, and Such Limited Inc. However, if you ask nicely, we'll probably let you.